You didn't have to cut me off. Make out like you never know we were nothing. And I don't really need your love. You treat me like a stranger. So no, you didn't have to stood so long. Now your friends gonna change your number. Listen, I need that though.
Fairies. Can't live with them? Especially when they set your house on fire. But who even are they? What cosmic force drives these minuscule monsters to commit such criminally mischievous acts? Well, fairies in Touhou are avatars of nature. Plants, ice, light, earth, wind, and fire, let's groove tonight. So yeah, any natural feature of the world can be the origin of a fairy. They pop out of the woodworks like tweakers after the grand opening of a Hardee's. Since they draw their life force from nature, they can stay alive as long as their origin is alive. A few hours after death, fairies will respawn and get right back to whatever public disturbance they were up to before their untimely departure. For that reason, all fairies are lost boys who will never age or mature because adult responsibilities are cringe. God, I miss the easy days. Since fairies don't have a home world, they show up everywhere. They can live anywhere where grass grows, birds fly, sun shines, and brother, I hurt people. Wait, force of nature, small and annoying, respawns on death? Is Scout a fairy? Bizarre crossovers aside, fairies can live anywhere, even in places that they don't originate from. Fairies live on Earth, the Moon, Hell, Makai, Meikai, Shokai, your dreams, your house, and the backseat of your car where you shove all your trash when you have to make room in your passenger seat. You disgusting lowlife. Fairies spend most of their time being absolute menaces to society. Pranking the public populace is the primary pastime of these pesky perpetrators. Fairies will pull any kind of jest from making rain invisible to concealing deadly weaponry on civilian premises. They mostly pick on humans, but they are fairly indiscriminate. They'll pick on yokai, they'll pick on paraplegic gods, they'll even pick on other fairies. And when that happens, you get the Fairy Wars. Luckily for the innocent bystanders, there are plenty of ways to counter these crooks when they're causing a ruckus. The easiest and most morally upstanding way to deal with fairies is to just beat the living shit out of them. I mean, what are they gonna do? Tell their parents? I'm not even joking with this bit. It is not only socially acceptable in Gensokyo, but it is even advised by its residents as a form of stress relief. Well, now that my comment section is an absolute mess, let's make it a bit worse by talking about a few of the fairies that people use as their comfort animals. Of course, I couldn't make this video without mentioning the Blue Menace herself, the patron saint of unfunny people, Cirno. And since I know you're thinking about it, here, take it all at once. And no, I don't care what you think. Cirno is the only way to say it, and you think there's any other way, then you're wrong and you're stupid, and I bet you have a healthy social life and hang out with your friends on weekends. Cirno is an ice fairy. And not just any ice fairy, the strongest fairy in Gensokyo. But then again, that's like calling yourself the best Super Turbo player in America. It's kind of an empty title. Anyway, Cirno is a fairy that lives on the Misty Lake. Being an ice fairy, she's in her element in the months after Mariah Carey has been defrosted. In the summer, she gets a nice tan to deal with the broiling outdoor heat. She can freeze pretty much anything, which comes in handy for making chilled drinks and slushies. But the Ice Queen's ability isn't putting in the cold, it's putting out the hot. Nobody knows where the hot goes, and honestly the implications are terrifying. She's also known for being rather stupid, but in all honesty, she's not any more dull than any other fairy. Now, if you want to talk about a fairy that can really pack a punch, I have to mention Clownpiece, the most American fairy. While most fairies come from flowers or trees, Clownpiece comes from the deepest, darkest pits of hell. As such, she's a fan of all things macabre and spooky. Her aesthetic is straight out of Hot Topic, and she's got the striped sleeves to prove it. Which makes sense when you look at her adopted hell mom, Hekatia. Anything gory and crazy gets her all fired up in the most literal sense possible. Growing up in a pit of fire and brimstone, Clownpiece's internal thermostat is set pretty high, so if Gensokyo's temperate climate ever gets too chilly for her, she'll warm up by setting her living space on fire. Ah, just like home. Clownpiece doesn't have any fire powers per se, she just carries around an eternally flaming torch that bears the embers of hell. Being from out of this world, this torch will make you go insane if you look at it for too long. Sometimes she uses it for bad things, like crashing parties, starting riots, or setting the Hakare Shrine on fire. But sometimes she will use it for good things, like freeing her friends, killing Lunarians, or setting the Hakare Shrine on fire. So what did we learn today? Fairies are stupid, it's okay to beat up kids, and America is hell.